1, 2, 3.
She discovered something really powerful. That being a nomad isn't only about where you go, but how you move through life with resilience, openness, and a deep trust in yourself. This morning, Heather is going to share with us what it means to carry that nomadic mindset, how challenges became her teachers, and how she found confidence in motion and change. So let's settle in, open our hearts, and give a warm Creative Mornings welcome to Heather Goodloe.
Thank you guys so much for coming out. You guys are one of the only communities that I would feel comfortable enough talking in front of. So thank you for being warm-hearted and amazing people. All right, get my little clicker too. So this girl here, 28-year-old me, she had a dream. She wanted to be a nomad. After a divorce in 2016, I was guns blazing. I was ready to be the kind of person that I had always wanted to be. Photography had been a treasure in my life, and travel had really been brewing in my bones for years. But we are not going to talk about the joy and beauty and warm, fuzzy feelings of travels and adventures I had, a nomad gallivanting across the countryside. I'm going to talk to you about the girl I was 9 years ago. A girl who jump-started her life and who adapted a nomadic way of thinking even before materializing a physical nomadic goal. I had started the process of nomadic thinking by first opening my mind and exploring different terrains of thoughts and seeing the possibility of a different life for myself. So rather than work a 9-to-5 for 30 years, then retire, going on the same beach trip year after year, stuck in a loop of tired monotony, I wanted to venture beyond my initial assumptions of what life could be. So in doing so, I pushed my perspective and strategies in life to start paying off debt, getting a cheaper car, taking on more photography jobs. I even found a remote photo editing job, and I started selling all of my belongings to make way for a new chapter in my life. But I, silly, naive, but well-intentioned girl, I thought my plan was the plan. I had everything mapped out to a T. Now, one thing I eventually came to know, as many before me have, is that life's only constant is change. No amount of planning can make your future secure, which can be stressful or exciting, but you can focus on your ultimate destination while being flexible about the journey. So thus unfolded for me the success of a failed plan. The beginning of 2017 started with a plan. It included my then boyfriend to transition into van life. A life of nomadic traveling around the country and world together, blissful, romantic, and ultimately utter crap. I was full steam ahead with preparations of buying a van, researching materials, layouts, etc. I was on a mission, and rightly so, for I was changing my entire life. I didn't anticipate, though, the level of pain I would feel moving out of my perfect little cottage. Yeah, that's my dog, Sadie. So this is what I moved out of. It still haunts me sometimes. But also, I had the constant looming thoughts of leaving all of my friends behind, too. Although I was on the path that I wanted, an unbearable emotional heaviness would come over me at times. So it was May 2017. I had purchased the van. I had moved out of my cottage. I had gutted the van, and the real work needed to start. I had planned for us to hit the road in the first week of July, which only gave us 2 months to build out this van. I was optimistically, but very stupidly, ambitious. So the days had started to pass, and despite inquiry, my boyfriend was detached and disinterested about doing anything with the van at all. And at the time, it seemed so strange why he wasn't as pumped or excited to work on the project that both of us had been dreaming about and talking about. And of course, being a emotionally weighed down, confused, stressed woman, I made a big deal about it, mainly because it was a big deal. You know, the leadership and labor of this project had changed from a collaboration, and now the full weight was sitting on my shoulders. One inexperienced person just trying to figure out as I went. But instead of completely freaking out, I became a nomadic thinker. I had to adapt and be resilient in the face of challenges. So I shifted my course, and with most things in life so far, I had to find in myself the ability and confidence to make it happen. I had to become comfortable with uncertainty, experimentation, temporary solutions, and I worried about one step at a time, creating a tunnel vision for myself, and I got to work. A month away from hitting the road, you probably guessed it, we broke up. I was down for the count. You know, it wasn't that I had lost this guy, it was that I had lost the life that I had envisioned us living, that I was in the midst of building. You know, it all vanished in an instant. I really did fight every day to remain optimistic, to continue to work on the van, to still work at my full-time job. You know, I fought to get out of bed, to eat, to drink, to pick up a drill, to build this little home that was now just for me. I felt starved and pulled along by my own timeline. So truly, in those days, I felt like I was fighting to live. And in that fight, I found the power of art therapy. It was because of art and the subconscious subtleties that it unlocks that gave me clarity and a small flicker to keep going. Thankfully, too, I had friends for emotional support, friends who taught me new skills, let me borrow tools, and I learned from a couple on the internet that was in the midst of building their own van. So just like nomads rely on different environments for sustenance, you have to be open to learning from anywhere and anyone to succeed. So life was a little bit of a mess, but I had to keep pushing myself. I couldn't give up on my dream just because someone else was afraid of it. And I want to repeat that because it means the world to me. I couldn't give up on my dream just because someone else was afraid of it. But on brighter notes, this day was a real boost in my confidence of my skills. I had made the frames for my storage benches, and I couldn't believe that I had done it all by myself. When I placed that first one in the van, and it fit perfectly, my face lit up with the hugest smile. It was comparable to the smile of seeing the Rocky Mountains for the first time. You know, it was a beautiful moment of success despite the emotional and mental storm I was in. I do want to pause here real quick because You can see in the middle there. So I wanted to create a moment in time for this little guy. His name is Orion, and he was my good friend Joe's cat before he passed away in 2019, and we've been honored to care for him ever since. Orion was with me when I was building out the van, and he welcomed me when I got back to Virginia. He has been the best companion, with the kindest spirit and an incredible capacity to love. I mention him today because this is going to be his last day. His cancer has taken him to a threshold that I don't dare have him cross. So later this morning, please take a moment to cherish your furry family members. Thank them for joining you in this chapter in life, because I've been so grateful to have him. So, all right. Okay, storage benches. Okay. So I finished the benches, and instead of doing a custom kitchen, I bought and installed one, and I got to work on the aesthetics and the bedding. And towards the last days before I took off in the van, material possessions and nostalgic items, they just contained no value. I dropped things off at Goodwill, took pictures of photos and documents, and then threw them away. Things that had meant everything to me in the past, all of a sudden, in the starkness of my reality, showed their true value. It was nothing. I had the memories, and the important ones I remember, and everything else was just needless filler. I purged, and it really did feel amazing. The day for me to head away from the life I had always known came so fast. Those last few days felt like I was in a tornado. I had my last day at my job that I had had for 5 years. I said goodbye to so many friends who had essentially become my family at that time. I also said goodbye to a man I reconnected with, a man that I now call my husband. It was all very bittersweet. I had accomplished my goal. I built a home for myself and by myself in 2 months. It was something that I was proud of and showed that I could do anything I set my mind to, proving that proper stubbornness truly is my superpower. I have felt weak, broken, on the edge of complete collapse of who I am as a person. But out of all of that, I was able to create and construct a home, a dream, and a reality to propel me into the life that I had always wanted. For better or worse, I believed in myself. I trusted in my strength, and it carried me through and beyond my difficulties and challenges. I led myself into the greatest adventure of my life, a journey of discovery of this beautiful country, but I also forged a path to becoming the kind of woman that I can be proud of. Being a nomad was a beautiful chapter in my life, but its path was filled with struggle and perseverance. From the highest peaks in Vermont to the California coast, it was filled with lessons and beauty that could fill a library. But being a nomad isn't limited to travel. It's how we can view and move with the world. Being open-minded and curious, adaptable and resilient in the face of challenges, being resourceful and drawing from diverse sources in life, being comfortable with uncertainty and experimenting, focusing on the ultimate destination while being flexible about the journey. Whatever your journey is, creatively or in life, all of us have unknowns. Usually they're seen in a negative light as doubts and fears, yet it's in our ability to have unknowns be a source of excitement and inspiration. They can propel us forward into the cosmos of possibilities. Finding the strength to see ourselves as greater than our perceived limits can open a door to finding a whole new outlook on our very existence. Trust that you possess all the power you'll ever need to succeed. Thank you.